on WFAA TV, Channel 8. The spirit of Texas. This is News 8 at 6.
And he has repeatedly, unequivocally lied to the Ethics Committee and to the American people about it.
Embattled House Speaker Newt Gingrich admits tonight he violated House ethics rules. Good evening. The man who helped bring down House Speaker Jim Wright of Fort Worth tonight is now on the other side of an ethics problem. After 2 years of denials, Republican Newt Gingrich admits ethics violations. Already, Democrats are saying his confession is cause for his resignation. But fellow Republicans are offering support and say Gingrich should stay as House Speaker. Here's the latest from ABC's Sheila Cast.
The Speaker's admission of wrongdoing came as the Ethics Committee released detailed evidence.
He admits to the violation of House rules.
At issue is a college course Gingrich taught in Georgia from 1993 to 95. It was partly paid for by tax-exempt organizations and by GOPAC, a political committee aimed at creating a Republican majority. That apparently violated tax law. But Gingrich and his lawyer told the committee in writing several times that GOPAC was not involved. Democrats and Republicans on the committee held Gingrich responsible.
We had a quorum, we took action, the vote was unanimous by the members who were present.
Gingrich said he had been naive and lax. Quote, "In my name, inaccurate, incomplete, and unreliable statements were given to the committee, but I did not intend to mislead the committee." The Democrat who had filed the ethics complaint against Gingrich called for him to step down as Speaker.
Anyone who will lie to the Congress of the United States, a committee of the Congress, who is engaged in 7 years of tax fraud to further his own personal and political benefits, is not deserving of the speakership.
But Republican leaders predicted Gingrich will win another term when the House votes January 7th.
We don't believe we're in any danger of losing Newt because he is a smart man. He has brought us to where we are today.
The next step in the ethics process is for the full committee to recommend penalties, which could range from a slap on the wrist to being thrown out of Congress. But none of that will be settled before the House reconvenes. Sheila Cast, ABC News on Capitol Hill.
In light of the ethics violations, one Democratic Texas congressman is coming down hard on Gingrich. Representative Lloyd Doggett from Austin once served on a state judicial ethics task force.
Speaker Gingrich should step aside as Speaker of the House of Representatives. He should do so immediately, and if he refuses to do so, he should be removed from office forcibly.
And Doggett believes the new Congress starting next month should start off on the right foot, with Gingrich out and a more honorable person in charge. However, House Majority Leader Dick Armey, also from Texas, is supporting Gingrich. Former House Speaker Wright declined comment today. There's word tonight the Peruvian hostage situation might be over by Christmas Eve. Last night, the communist rebels freed 38 people from the Japanese embassy, among them foreign diplomats. Hundreds more remain inside, though, in uncomfortable surroundings. But the Red Cross today delivered more food, water, and clothing in the hope of making the crisis at least bearable. Also today, a call traced to inside the residence told a Peruvian radio station the rest of the captives will be set free December 24th at 10 p.m. Officials are rushing to confirm the call really came from the hostage takers. For the first time, the government will team with outside doctors looking into Gulf War illnesses, and the study will be done in Dallas. About 120 Gulf vets met today with researchers from the VA and the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center. They filled out questionnaires telling where they served during the war and what health problems they've had. The joint team will look at sick and healthy veterans to compare. They'll also talk with the 1,700 Gulf vets being treated at the Dallas VA.
Why did you want to come down here today?
Answers. I want to get better. That's all I want is to be able to live a normal life.
For more than 2 years, the UT doctors studied Navy reservists who served in the Gulf. The results are expected within a few weeks. Ross Perot is paying for the study. A government plan to streamline nuclear weapons work could mean the loss of more than 1,700 jobs in Amarillo. That's the site of the Pantex nuclear facility. The plant now employs 3,500 workers who assemble and disassemble nuclear weapons. But the Department of Energy approved a $40 billion downsizing plan. The decision means Pantex will lose between 1,700 and 2,200 workers over the next 6 years. A big job ahead at the Southland Center complex in downtown Dallas. The building's new owner plans to turn the 1.2 million square foot skyscraper into the largest hotel in downtown Dallas. HBE, the company that owns the Adam Mark hotel chain, hopes to finish the $150 million remodeling job by September 1998. If you've been out doing your Christmas shopping today, then you already know. Today and tomorrow will be the biggest shopping days of the year. Texans have been leading the nation in holiday sales, and there's a story behind those numbers. And the man with that story, Channel 8's Jim Douglas, who's live now at Ridgemar Mall in Fort Worth. Jim?
Brad, you're right. This is not a night for shopping amateurs. This mall is packed out here tonight. That is undeniably good news for retailers, but analysts point out that we have been comparing this year's sales figures to last year's, and last year's were lousy, actually down a couple of points. And while we are spending more money, they say there are more of us to spend because the Texas population is rapidly growing, and that can skew the figures just a little bit. Merchants are also getting a bump from the increase in the minimum wage this year. Now, despite the big crowds out here at the mall, there are a lot of people who don't like getting mauled, as it were, this time of year. They stay home and they do their shopping by catalog. And we found one that's pure Texas.
A Texas in Exile survival ration.
Texan in Exile survival rations, one of several gift packages in the Great Texas line. A little Texas heat headed for frozen Connecticut.
We have picante and queso and barbecue sauce. This is queso con chipotle. Barbecue sauce, Meemaw Renfro's Texas Home Secure Barbecue Sauce.
Longtime newspaper journalist Barry Schlochter launched his Great Texas Line catalog business from his garage 3 years ago. A self-described recovering Yankee from Cleveland, his baskets include only distinctively Texas products and the stories behind them, like these birdhouses.
They're made here in Fort Worth by a retired Army colonel. Pecan honey butter from the hill country, made by Dewey Fain of Llano, Texas. Even the basket is made in Texas.
And he says he has the only pralines to win gold medals in Brussels and London. Wonder what those Europeans would think of a barbecue rub called Cordon Bubba.
You not only get Texas products, you get Texas directions. This is the Cordon Bubba Buffalo Gap Steak Rub, and it tells you to sprinkle on the meat and let marinate the length of time it takes to hum along with all my exes live in Texas 3 times.
This is going to Chester, Virginia. This is going to Tabernacle, New Jersey, Folsom, Louisiana.
Schlochter says he quadrupled sales last year, but like many new entrepreneurs, he's still struggling to find his customer base.
Yesterday I got a letter from a guy, a Texan in prison in Georgia, and he wants a catalog.
Nice try, no sale.
Now, retail sales have been up about 6% in North Texas, but one major store at the Parks Mall in South Arlington reported a 25% increase one day last week, and that's phenomenal. I'm Jim Douglas, reporting live from Ridgemar Mall in West Fort Worth. Brad, back to you.
Jim, don't get crushed in the stampede out there.
Going to try to get it done in a hurry.
All right, thanks very much. 8 years ago today, the crash of Pan Am Flight 103. When we come back tonight, families of the victims remember their loved ones. Plus,
I'm so glad for me, and I'm mainly glad for them.
police officers make their rounds today armed with bags of goodies. Then later, critic Gary Cogill takes a look at a holiday horror flick, Scream.
911. 12 drumsticks roasting, 11 pies a piping, 10 chestnuts toasting, 9 rolls of rising, 8 cakes a mixing, 7 shrimp a swimming, 6 geese a glazing, 5 cranberry rings, 4 party trays, 3 baked hams, 2 poinsettias, and some parsley in a pan.
Kroger's best to you this season.
Smithfield Hamilton bone-in whole or shank portion smoked ham, 99 cents a pound. And 12-can packs of Coca-Cola, $1.99 each.
Texas goes for trucks in a Texas-sized way, whether hard at work or hard at play. And when Texas goes for trucks, it goes to the store, selling Magnum Rams, Dakotas, and more. The Texas truck stop, the new Dodge.
Here's a special Dodge Ram for Texas with a Magnum V6, air, stereo cassette, speed control, tilt steering, and more for a low $59.95.
The Texas truck stop, the new Dodge.
One Christmas party.
Why don't you all come? Yeah.
2 different families.
I'm actually kind of curious about them.
It wasn't my idea, so if you guys don't want to go.
And 3 times the stress.
Should I just kill myself right now?
But when a long-lost relative returns...
Merry Christmas, everybody.
It becomes the greatest gift of all.
Merry Christmas!
I love you.
A special all-new Relativity. ABC tonight.
That's tonight, followed by the Texas Lottery, here on Channel 8.
A day after the court gave the okay, O.J. Simpson's children returned to his estate today. In a brief telephone interview, Simpson said simply, they're home and everything is fine. He added he plans to have the children spend time with Nicole Simpson's parents next week. The couple had kept Sydney, age 11, and Justin, age 8, since Nicole Simpson's murder. Yesterday, O.J. Simpson won permanent custody of the children, ending a long court battle. The neighbor of former Dallas School Board member Dan Peavy must pay a fine for recording Peavy's phone calls. A federal judge fined Charles Harmon $5,005 for illegally recording calls Peavy made from his cordless phone at home. Peavy was acquitted last month on charges partially stemming from the recordings. The criminal case out of the way, Harmon still faces an invasion of privacy lawsuit filed by Peavy and his wife. 8 years ago today, 270 people on board Pan Am Flight 103 died when a bomb exploded over Lockerbie, Scotland. Today at Arlington National Cemetery, families of the victims remembered their loved ones by laying a wreath at the Pan Am 103 Memorial. President Clinton also issued a statement marking the anniversary. He said the passing of time will never diminish the world's outrage against this terrorist crime. A man whose work leads to saving lives is Time Magazine's Man of the Year. Dr. David Ho, scientific director at the Aaron Diamond AIDS Research Center in New York, pioneered a kind of cocktail of antiviral drugs. Time says Ho's work fundamentally changed the approach to fighting HIV and just might lead to a cure. Hundreds of Dallas residents got surprise visits from the police today. The officers weren't serving warrants, though, but holiday cheer. Channel 8's Dana Barrett has more on the 13th annual Santa Cops.
They loaded their back seats with presents versus prisoners.
Loaded, didn't it? Might have to put it on out the other side.
And some even swapped their uniform blue hat for a red cap.
Just 514.
200 Dallas police officers visited 3 times as many families in need. Santa Cops is not a sign-up assistance program. Throughout the year, officers make note of people they meet who could use a little help. Some are the victims of crime.
So many times when we visit families, you know, at work, it's always in a negative matter. And so it's nice to be able to bring good news instead of bad news all the time for the kids.
Y'all come on. Where's the bicycle?
Senior Corporal Donnie Chapman has been playing Santa for the last 5 years with help from his teenage police explorers.
I like to see them in the giving mood, you know, instead of always wanting somebody to give them something. They enjoy coming out and giving to people, so I like that.
Hello, men. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Kathleen Smith is an unemployed single mother of 5 who says the holiday wouldn't be the same without a police visit.
Really, it wouldn't be much of a Christmas. We could thank God that we're here, but it's even a bigger Christmas since they got toys and stuff. They're going to be happy on Christmas.
It's a startling sight for the unknowing when 4 squad cars pull up, but all sigh when they see officers arm themselves with packages.
Can we bring you a couple of things? Look, my hat is cold.
Rupi Moore never feared when she saw the row of squad cars. The 69-year-old lives alone, suffers from arthritis, and can't work. The officers answered her prayers.
God is good, and he is. And he dwells, you know, he reveals himself through people.
In the eyes of those who received, Santa wears blue and a badge.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Dana Barrett, Channel 8 News, Dallas.
All those people out today doing good deeds or just shopping or whatever got warmer temperatures, but they got the wind too today.
Yeah, lots of wind out there. We did have a wind advisory in effect this afternoon, and it will be in effect tonight too. But winter arrives, but temperatures anything but winter-like. We'll explain when we come back.
Live captioning of News 8 is sponsored by Columbia, the nation's largest provider of healthcare services, with 16 hospitals and 7 surgery centers to serve you in the North Texas area.
Did I ever tell you about the time I saw Santa Claus?
Since 1923, families have made it a tradition to give Russell Stover boxed chocolates, especially for the holidays. Make sure your holiday is everything you remember, this and every Christmas, with Russell Stover, the tasteful gift to give.
Talk about Santa.
There's a rare edition hitting the streets, rich in added features
and available at a price that's very good news. The Accord Special Edition. A car this uncommon is definitely front page stuff.
He's been called Father Christmas, Hanukkah Harry, Kris Kringle, and Père Noël. But everybody knows his real name is Barry's Ale. Sterling by Barry's Ale. Northwest Highway at Central.
You know, it's the season for holiday feasting, so fill your stockings full of these great specials from Sack and Say Warehouse Food Store. Smithfield ham, 95 cents a pound. Betty Crocker cake makes 68 cents. Coca-Cola 12 packs, $1.97. Del Monte bananas, 28 cents a pound. Gold Medal flour, 67 cents. Imperial sugar, 97 cents. People are raving about sacking and saving.
Today, of course, was the first full day of winter, but Mother Nature was a bit ahead of schedule this year. We saw some below freezing temperatures early in the week, a dusting of snow, and now for the next several days, we're going to see somewhat of a warm-up. Lots of clouds moving in the area tonight, though, as the jet stream moves from west to east, as you see here. A lot of cloudy conditions, and that will be the rule for the next couple of days. We do have a low-pressure system up to our northwest, high pressure down to the south, and this is bringing us those very strong winds out of the south, gusting up near 35 miles an hour out of DFW Airport today. That, of course, means a wind advisory again this evening, as we expect to see those winds pick up a little bit later on tonight. Temperatures anything but cold through much of our state this evening. It's 59 currently in Abilene, 65 in Midland, 61 in San Antonio, 67 in Brownsville, currently 66 degrees in Houston. Well, here's a look at what's going on locally. We do have some cloudy conditions out there, 60 degrees currently. Humidity now at 72%, a beautiful sunset out there tonight. Our pressure is currently rising at 2991, and the winds have died down a little bit at this hour out of the south at 9 miles an hour. Of course, no rain in the past 24 hours, and sunrise on Sunday morning will be at 727. Have a look at some of the temperatures around Dallas-Fort Worth this evening. Pretty much in the lower 60s, 57, the cool spot, I guess you could say, currently in Oak Cliff, and those winds blowing out of the south-southwest at about 15 miles an hour currently in Fort Worth, and 22 miles an hour, rather gusty up in Denton currently. Facts and figures for today: 67 was our high, 38 the overnight low. 56 and 35 are normal, 81 the record high, and just 3 degrees the record low. Things are calm in our neck of the woods, but not the case out in the western United States. Lots of moisture moving in and off the Pacific here, and a frontal system as well, and that's bringing some snow showers in the Sierra Mountain region all the way up to Idaho surrounding this low pressure system here. About 9 inches of new snow reported in Boise, and you can see quite a bit of rain falling from about San Francisco up towards the Oregon border. Through the eastern United States, it's been a quiet day for the most part, but that high pressure system did bring that cool air we saw into parts of the southeastern United States. Areas from Tennessee to the Virginias saw record-breaking low temperatures this morning in single digits in many regions. Well, here's a look at what happens for us tomorrow. The low pressure system remains in place. High pressure begins to slide to the east. It'll be another windy day tomorrow. South winds 20 to 30 miles an hour. Forecast for us tonight, partly cloudy, 54. The overnight low, mostly cloudy tomorrow. We get up to 71. A weak front will move through on about Monday, and by Monday night we get down to 40 degrees. But things begin to warm up again, mostly sunny. Actually, on Tuesday, they'll cool off a little bit, but Christmas Day looking pretty good, 58 and 38, and back up to 60 the day after Christmas when we go back to the stores to return gifts, I guess.
We will do that, and we won't do it in the teens as far as temperatures.
Doesn't look like it.
All right, thanks very much. The stadium sustained years of use and abuse. Up next in sports, the Dallas Cowboys close down RFK in Washington tomorrow. And in high school football, Denison goes for a state title.
Only from Domino's, new garlic crunch crust pizza, roasted garlic. Baked right into our classic hand-tossed dough, then sprinkled with Parmesan crunchies all around the edge. It's a delicate blend of herbs and garlic in every bite of our delicious steaming crust. Call now and get a large one topping just $9.99. New garlic crunch crust for a limited time only.
For hot and wild, call Domino's. Now.
At James Wood in Decatur and Denton, the great 96 year-end clearance sale is underway. Spectacular savings on every new GM car and truck. Just in time for this great sale, low 3.9% interest from GMAC on new cars like the Pontiac Grand Am and Sunbird, the Chevrolet Lumina and Cavalier, plus the great family vans Chevrolet Astro and GMC Safari. Great year-end savings on the new Cadillac DeVille and value supreme on hundreds of new Chevrolet and GMC extended cab pickups now at James Wood, Decatur and Denton.
I'm Joan London for Mothers Against Drunk Driving, asking you to tie one on. Is tie a mad ribbon to your vehicle as a symbol of your pledge to drive sober. Tie one on for safety.
So imagine what it would be like if Texas Stadium were closing.
This would be a wild week, wouldn't
Big.
it? And I imagine it is up there. This is a pretty big thing. It's just kind of a strange week to have it. It's one of the top rivalries in sports, providing some of the great memories. So it's fitting that the Cowboys face the Redskins in the last game to be played at RFK Stadium. It's just too bad this game means nothing more for either team, leaving the best memories old memories. George Reba with the story from Washington, D.C.
It's the last weekend for professional football at RFK Stadium. The facility, which was built in 1960, became obsolete long ago, but continued to provide a home field for the Redskins like no other in the NFL.
What I tried to dwell on is that you're in the nation's capital. You're representing the nation, and I felt that way myself.
RFK Stadium has just 53,000 seats, making it easy for fans to provide the team with 229 consecutive sellouts. The moments in sports history are too numerous to mention, but the rivalry with the Cowboys began from the start. Ironically, Washington's first victory at RFK came in the last game of the 1961 season against Dallas, but the rivalry began before they even played a single down.
The former owner of the Washington Redskins did not want to award the Dallas Cowboys the franchise here in Dallas. And Clint Murchison, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, received a letter that the Washington Redskins fight song was not patent. So Clint Murchison patented the song and told Marshall that if, in fact, you don't vote for me to get this franchise in Dallas, then you won't have the Redskins fight song.
And maybe that was part of the rivalry right there, you know. But Clint was, you know, he was amazing. Clint, he ran the chickens out on the field, won a game, you know, and boy, it made the owner so mad.
2 NFC Championship games were played here between Dallas and Washington. Both were won by the Redskins. Vince Lombardi coached here. The Washington Senators, now the Texas Rangers, once played here. And in 1989, it was Jimmy Johnson who won his first game during a 1-15 season. The Redskins' new home will be 5 miles east of RFK in a stadium that's still not complete. It will hold more than 78,000 fans, but even that's not big enough to accommodate everyone who wants to become a season ticket holder. George Reba, Channel 8 Sports, near Landover, Maryland.
What is expected to be the final game for Dan Reeves as coach of the Giants hosting New England, and Drew Bledsoe with a going-away present to Jason Sehorn. It was 22-0 Giants at the half. Bill Parcells wondering who's in Bledsoe's helmet the past couple weeks. He wanted his homecoming to be a good one, so Parcells lets Dave Meggett do his thing. Had 6 of those. It's a New York Giant. Hasn't had one since. The punt return made it 22-17. Then a Bledsoe sighting. 4th quarter drive to Ben Coates, who fights for the score and the win. A bye week for you. 23-22 New England. And that other game, St. Louis won. State championship day for Texas high school football, but only one team from this region in today's finals. Denison playing Lamarck for the 4A Division II title at Texas Stadium. This is Roderick Johnson. Nice little flip pass to Jonathan Cooper, and that's a 52-yard touchdown for Lamarck. It was 6-0. Denison with several turnovers in this one sets up several Lamarck scores, including one here. 12-3 at the half, 27-3 in the fourth. Lamarck lead. And elsewhere in the other high school state championships, that Westlake-Cooper game was tied 7-all at the half, believe it or not. Sealy with the win over Tatum for the 3A title. Hasn't been a lot of celebrating at SMU lately. Shouldn't have been any after the firing of Tom Rossley. Then the difficulty finding a replacement. But now they can warm up their hopes again because the new guy is here.
There's no secret to it. There's no magic to it. I'm not going to come in here with gimmicks. It's a commitment. It's a commitment by me and by the players to do things the right way, and we're going to do that.
Mike Cavan can only hope for the kind of start Mike Dement has the basketball Mustangs off to this season. 5-1 before the trip to Stillwater. Desmond Mason, preseason newcomer of the year in the Big 12 with the bucket there. And Adrian Peterson pumps in 22, and the Mustangs lose big, 73-54 final. Other basketball scores to pass along in the top 10. How about that second one? Michigan and Arizona going overtime, 73-71 Michigan. And the coach's introduction at Moody wasn't the biggest event there today. Lady Mustangs hosting Texas Tech. The number 11 ranked Lady Raiders. Claudia Broussard keeps it close. First half, she gets the rebound, puts it in, 31-28 Tech at the break. But the Lady Mustangs can't stop Alicia Thompson. 30 for Thompson, 78-69 Tech final. Dallas Stars in progress with the New York Islanders, and if the Stars win tonight, Ken Hitchcock is the coach of the All-Star team, so we'll have highlights of that one for you tonight on the update.
All right, thanks very much, Brian. Finally, the creator of Nightmare on Elm Street is back with a new thriller that pokes fun at horror films. Channel 8's movie critic Gary Cogill says Scream has as many laughs as it does chills.
If they'd watch Prom Night, they'd save time. There's a formula to it, a very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect.
Scream is a horror film with a wicked sense of humor, and the latest fright fest from Wes Craven, the creator of Nightmare on Elm Street. In the opening scene, Drew Barrymore plays the typical horror film teenager, home alone and on the phone.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
Nev Campbell plays Sydney, the killer's next victim in this jumpy, frightful spoof. But Sydney's pretty smart and not easily influenced.
No, it's just, what's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
And horror films aren't for everyone. And there's a lot of people that you know,
that don't watch them.
This film will pop off the screen for them, and they won't watch half of it.
Yeah, I know. Seriously. You know what? I'm the kind of person who originally hated horror films and couldn't watch them. I've probably only seen 3 or 4 in my life, only because I have nightmares forever after. I'm still having nightmares about when I saw when I was like 9.
Scream features a solid cast of goofy teenagers and adults who fit the genre perfectly. Courtney Cox plays a selfish tabloid TV reporter who gets dangerously close to her own story.
911.
What's going on?
Scream is rated a solid R for language and violence. Wes Craven has created a clever movie of wit and style that pokes adrenaline-pumping fun at the stupidity of such movies. Scream is the perfect title for this film, and it's a movie clearly not for everyone.
So, who are you?
The question isn't, who am I? The question is, where am I?
So, where are you?
Your front porch.
Gary Cogill, Channel 8 News.
Thanks for joining us for our early report this Saturday. We'll be back at 10 for the update right after the $8 million Lotto Texas drawing. Have a good evening.
News 8 Now. Access the news you need at any given moment. News 8 on the World Wide Web at www.wfaa.com.
It's your place in the sun, not a mall for a zillion miles, and you're thinking about what else? Shopping! You can get up to $1,200 cash back or 3.9% APR financing on the rugged Chevy S10 pickup during the Make Your Money Count year-end event. S10 is tough. It has that can-do attitude, and I like that in a truck. Chevy dealers are making great offers on other cars and trucks, too. Now go on a big shopping spree. The Chevrolet Make Your Money Count year-end event ends soon.
When you're getting ready for the holidays, don't forget Winn-Dixie.
WD Super Trimmed Whole Smoked Hams are just $1.28 a pound. Buy a Butterball turkey dinner with all the trimmings for just $29.88. Plus, get 15% off chips and snacks every day. And pick up a $3 off coupon to Fort Worth Dallas Ballet's The Nutcracker.
Shop Winn-Dixie for the holidays.